It's day 7 of the great sock shortage. The squirrels have unionized, demanding better benefits. Your neighbor is bartering antique teacups for canned beans, loudly. And the communal spork, after a brief, glorious rain, just vanished into the ether. Pure, unadulterated chaos. Hey survivors, welcome back to our channel, the hand-drawn guide to staying mostly functional when the world gets weird. Today, we're sketching the 3 deadliest types of people after collapse, purely for laughs and fictional preparedness. Don't take notes, just observe the delightful absurdity. 1. The expert, who knows nothing. Picture this. The world's gone a bit wobbly, right? And suddenly, everyone's an expert. Not on useful stuff, but on obscure theories they half remember, or how to ferment a shoe into a questionable, possibly sentient beverage. Our first deadly type, the pseudo-prognosticator. See him in the sketch? He's got that wild, manic gleam, clutching a tattered, coffee-stained pamphlet. He sees himself as the intellectual vanguard, a beacon of truth. This individual is a walking, talking hazard, not malicious, but spectacularly, consistently wrong about everything. They'll declare the best way to purify water is through glitter, positive affirmations, and dryer lint. Or that avoiding garden gnomes requires painting your face entirely blue. It's in the ancient texts, they'll bellow, referencing a poorly translated forum post about competitive thumb ruffling. And they'll defend these theories with unshakable conviction, even as blue paint drips into their eyes. Their advice leads to hilariously inconvenient, but never truly harmful predicaments. You might get bright green hair from their swamp algae dye, or accidentally attract confused pigeons with a broken kazoo distress signal. The real danger? Wasting precious emotional energy explaining that no, you cannot charge a car battery by shouting very loudly at it. It's a comedic energy drain, nothing more. Check the sketch again. See his makeshift survival uniform? A moth-eaten bathrobe, a colander helmet with a bent antenna, and mismatched Crocs. The pseudo-prognosticator thrives on being heard, not being right. In a world where good judgment is currency, their intellectual bankruptcy is a persistent, low-grade annoyance, like a perpetually squeaky shopping cart wheel. 2. The hoarder of absurd things. Next up, our second wonderfully inconvenient personality type, the accidental architect of obstruction. This isn't your typical prepper with canned goods and first aid kits. Oh no, too logical. This is the person who, when society crumbles, decides the most valuable commodities are slightly bent paperclips, orphan socks, and that tiny button from under the couch. They collect the utterly insignificant. Check the sketch. See them meticulously sorting bottle caps by faded blue shade, or cataloging every packing peanut? Their lair, whether an abandoned shed or your communal living space, is a monument to disorganization and future, maybe usefulness. It's a labyrinth of trinkets. They're not hoarding food, they're hoarding potential. You never know when you'll need 3,000 identical plastic sporks, they'll declare, eyes gleaming. And they'll defend their hoard of broken garden gnomes and empty cereal boxes with surprising ferocity. The deadliness here isn't direct confrontation, but sheer logistical nightmare. They'll refuse to part with a single broken pencil, even if it means you can't open a door or access the emergency sourdough starter. Their philosophy, it might be useful someday. And someday means after the universe itself collapses into a singularity of rusty screws and twist ties. You'll constantly trip over their categorized lint piles or step on their priceless collection of non-matching earrings. They'll trade a chipped wrench for a flattened bottle cap and a half-chewed rubber band, then wonder why nobody trusts their bartering skills. Their threat isn't malice, it's constant, low-level irritation. The existential dread of being buried under sentimental garbage, and the impossibility of moving anything without a cluttered domino effect. 3. The enthusiast of dangerous hobbies. And finally, for our third and arguably loudest deadly type, the uninhibited experimenter. Normally, these folks are harmless, tinkering in garages, or teaching their cat ukulele. They're mad scientists of the mundane. But when rules vanish, so does their caution, and often their eyebrows. See this little guy in the sketch? He's got that wild, slightly singed look, a perpetual smoke puff around him. He's probably just tried powering a radio with a potato battery and some questionable chemicals. His intentions are pure, to help, by building a perpetual motion machine from duct tape, a rusty bicycle, and a squirrel on a tiny treadmill. The danger here? Pure, unadulterated, accidental chaos delivered with a cheerful grin. One moment you're trying to open chili with a dull spoon, the next, a small, enthusiastic explosion erupts, followed by purple smoke smelling of burnt sugar and singed fur. Testing new, eco-friendly fuel, he'll shout, emerging disheveled, clutching a smoking whisk. The water pump, of course, remains stubbornly unpumped. They'll try to make artisanal soap from expired yogurt and glitter, resulting in a product that hums and tries to escape. Or invent a safe way to generate electricity using a kite and a lightning rod. What could go wrong? Everything, in a delightfully cartoonish, consequence-free fashion involving singed hair and very surprised squirrels. Their deadliness is an endless series of minor, inconvenient, spectacularly messy mishaps. You're constantly on edge, not from raiders, but worrying your roof might become a testing ground for their new, unstable, wind-powered popcorn maker. It's less about survival, more about dodging rogue inventions and explaining strange smells. Wrap up, takeaway. So, there you have it. 3 wonderfully problematic personality types that, in a purely fictional hand-drawn apocalypse, would make daily life incredibly, hilariously interesting. Remember, these aren't real-world threats or profiles. They're just fun archetypes for our twisted thought experiments about human eccentricity under pressure. Bottom line, when things go sideways in our imaginary world, it's often the quirks of human nature, amplified by chaos, that provide the best, most absurd challenges. And a good laugh, even a dark one, is a powerful fictional survival tool, far less likely to explode than a potato battery. Closing and CTA. That's it for today's page from the Apocalypse Sketchbook. If this entertained you for at least 5 minutes, hit like, drop your funniest hypothetical survival idea in the comments, the more ridiculous the better, and subscribe so the next disaster feels slightly more ridiculous. Stay sharp, stay weird, and I'll see you in the ruins. The imaginary ones, of course.